Stella Crown is finally upon us. That is right. Today is the release day of Stella Crown, the new Pokemon set from Scarlet and Violet, and it brings in some amazing new cards, the whole new Stella Tera types, and we'll look into those cards in a second. But in this video, we are literally just doing a set review, so we're just going to go through all the cards, what cards are kind of playable, and then all the artworks, because there are some amazing cards in this set. So although I'm not opening up any products in this one, you might see down there, I've got, oh, yep, just down there, I have some product, and that is going to be the next video. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and you'll be seeing me opening up an ETB and a booster box of Stella Crown. And if you're really lucky, there might even be a giveaway in that video. So yes, make sure you are subscribed. Without further ado, let's get straight into the cards. So as mentioned, we're going to go through the entire set. I'm going to go through the playability standpoint in terms of these basic cards here, the normal versions. Then when we get into the art rares, we'll go into more, not just the playability, but just the amazing art that is in this set. Because the Stella Crown, as I said, is bringing some new visuals to it in a different kind of way. And I think that's going to make this set very unique, especially if it's the only set that has that. So bear that in mind. So as we go through, obviously it's in type order like most sets. The first thing I'm going to bring your eyes to is obviously literally the very first card in the entire set is an EX, which is Venusaur. I'm not sure it's going to be that playable, but it's Venusaur, so you never know. But just something to look out for. The first one I want to say here, so from a playability standpoint, is Ledian, with its ability to sort of almost bosses order a small Pokemon or utility Pokemon. And then its attack actually isn't too bad because it's a 70 damage. And it isn't affected by the weakness or resistance of any opponent's active Pokemon. So definitely a card to be on the lookout. It's also in the build and battle, especially those who've done the pre-release. Keep going through. We've got the Rotoms in this set, which are quite cool. We'll go on to one of the coolest Rotoms there in the set, which is definitely playable. If you played in pre-release, you definitely wanted it in your pre-release deck, that's for certain. Next up here, we have the Hydrapple EX. So this could be a playable card. It's cool art. It's obviously one of the first, it's not the first Hydrapple, but it's one of the first ones of it. And it's got a cool ability. It sort of helps with energy ramp and heals your Pokemon. And its attack benefits from more leaf energy. So if you've got a leaf deck, then actually it's quite good as already the Ogerpons, which gets leaf energy in. There's a Joltik, which we'll get onto later. So yeah, this attack could do quite a lot of damage. Has potential here, has potential. Next up, we go into the fire Pokemon, and there's really not a lot to say about this. There's some nice little artworks like the Reshiram here. I mean, we're all looking forward to the Reshiram coming out next year. If you haven't seen that, then make sure you check one of my community posts. But there's definitely a really nice art where Reshiram coming out. The main one to look out for is you've got the Score Bunny Reboot, and then in particular the Cinder Ace EX, which is the first Stella Tera Pokemon that has been released. I say first because it's just the first out of the list. There's obviously 4, and we'll get onto them later. But the main thing about these Pokemon is all of them have a first attack, which is either colorless or just one type of energy. So in this case, you could have all fire because it is a fire type. And its second ability is 3 different types of energy, and it varies on which one it is. And that's kind of, obviously they're a powerful Pokemon in of themselves, so the sort of downside, even though there's not a downside because it's quite easy to get different types of energy Pokemon do this with all the utility around there, it's the only downside. One thing I really want to talk about regarding these cards, and we'll look at them as we go further down, is that the borders carry on. That's right, so the border carries out for all of it. It's got that rainbow style, it sort of punches outwards with the Terra, and I've just knocked the microphone doing that, I apologize. And when you come to the full art ones later on, it's even more of an effective sort of rainbow on it. So they're not rainbow Pokemon cards like back from Sword and Shield and Sun and Moon, etc. But they're the closest thing that Scarlet and Violet at the moment have got to rainbow Pokemon. And it looks really cool. So hopefully in the next video, when we get to open up these cards, we'll be able to see that and see the borders, because I think they're going to really shine and really show something from it. Next up, we get into the water Pokemon. So Blastos EX. Again, this card's been on the radar because obviously it coming out in the deck in Japan, where it's taking effectless damage, and then in its water attack, it can do quite a lot of damage, but not a lot, and you can get the water energy back. So this has potential to be playable, but nothing too exciting here. The big one here is the Lapras EX. So again, like the Cinderace, it's one of the new Stella Tera Pokemon. The way it comes out, I like this one more. This is probably my favorite out of the 4. I know I've done a poll on my channel at the moment. As of recording, I think Terapagos is winning. But look at this, the way that the Stella Tera comes out on the hair, just in this corner here, and Lapras comes out. It's the colours on this look amazing. I really want to open this, so fingers crossed we do. So like the other one, it's got a basic attack, which 40 damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. it's going to be quite easy to get a lot of energy on this. In fact, this is a basic, and then you've got, say, Excalibur and that engine behind it. And then it's big attack, as in it's 3 energy attack, water, psychic, and metal. So there might be things you can do with that. But again, just to show that off. But this is my favorite out of the 4. Definitely one I think everyone should get a hold of as many as possible. But hey, that's just my opinion. So as we go further down, the only big mentions here, well, actually there's a couple terms of playability. So Crabominable. Oof, that's I don't know why I'm struggling with that. But the fact it does 250 damage, and if you play Kofus in it, you can discard them to make this just a potentially 1 or 2 water attack for a single prizer doing 250. And then you can switch it back in if you have a couple of them, 250. So actually, as long as you dedicate yourself to this kind of deck, then the amount of damage you can do for a stage, well, for a stage 1 and a single prizer is really powerful. So definitely a card to look out for if you're playing the game. And then as we go further along, you've got the Faluza in here as well. Same sort of thing with the Kofu on it. It's a single prizer and basic, and then 110 damage. So you can do a lot of damage for not a lot of energy essentially. But again, you kind of have to commit to this because you want to play the 4 Kofu and you want to get them in your discard pile either by playing them or just discard them to say Ultra Balls, etc. So that's the playability, and I'm just going to bring this up because it's really weird that Greninja White Masquerade, massive. In this one, not so much. Potentially you can do 200 damage. It's not worth it. But also in terms of the UPC that's coming out, that I think this is one of the cards, and it's kind of weird, just 1 attack and loads of random space on it. At least you've got the full art of the Greninja coming through, but I don't know why. I just find this is a weird EX card, so I just thought I'd point it out to everyone. Next up, okay, this is sort of, to me, the big ones, okay? And it's all in the light. So at first glance, this Joltik looks pretty innocuous. It's 30 HP, doesn't seem that great, just got 1 attack. Let's read this, however. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Leaf Energy cards and up to 2 basic Light Energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Going second, turn 1, you can get 4 energy across your Pokemon. So you put 1 energy on this, and then you gain an additional 3 essentially by doing this, and you can put it on your bench however you want. You could, in theory, charge up an Iron Hands in 1 turn, and then Iron Hands next turn potentially if they need some setup. Boom. That's just one example. There's actually loads out there you can do this. So really, really powerful. And even if it's only 30 HP and you go, well, it gets killed and on the swing back. Well, if you get to put all your energy on your Pokemon, they might kill Joltik, and then you unfair stamp. You've got an energy advantage and then a hand advantage. So you could almost use this as a tempo so much. And it's the fact that it's colorless, even if you don't necessarily play a lightning deck, even though obviously it's better than a lightning and grass deck, the upside, like, there's no downside. Well, there is a downside, but it's small, right? You're playing it for the upside, and therefore absolutely amazing. But not just that, you can still play it as an actual card you want to evolve from. Why? Well, let's get into that, because the next Stella Tera Pokemon is Galvantula EX, which does need grass and lightning energy. So if you don't play it, if you don't get to attack turn 1, or you get to attack with it at a later stage, you can power this up quite easily and then play your own fighting energy on it. But it's a stage 1, so not as difficult to get as like a stage 2 is. And if your Pokemon's active Pokemon is an EX or Pokemon V, it does 110 more damage. That's 220 damage, enough to knock out some basic EXs and Vs out there, and doesn't take much to add some extra damage to it with belts and bits and pieces. But the big thing on this one in particular compared to the others is the second ability is probably one of the better second abilities out there. Yes, you've got to discard all the energy from this Pokemon, but during your opponent's next turn, they can't play any item cards from their hand. So it's almost like they skip a turn. I mean, it's not quite like that. You skip a turn, and then you switch out to something that can KO. So this can be used as a tempo card. And I feel like if you're already playing Joltik and you're playing grass and lightning Pokemon, then actually why not have a 1 or 2 Galvantulas in there? And you don't want to necessarily use its second attack all the time. First attack is great by itself, and then second one is enough to sort of basically gain a second turn, or an extra turn if you like, even though you're not. So really powerful effect. I can see it in certain decks where you basically go, yep, can't play any item cards from the hand. They can't really do much. If they're already behind because you've unfair stamped them, etc., and so on and so forth, then you're already ahead. And then this is just another tempo thing. So this to me is a really great card, and we could see it very quickly. And lightning doesn't stop there. Surprising, I know. Well, there's Charjabug and Vigavolt, and it's not necessarily this Vigavolt that's the relevant one. It's from a previous set. And now I can't remember the top of my head. However, the Charjabug in this is pretty good. It's annoying that it's 80, so you can't body by pop him, but it does search up for it's up to 3 Charjabugs themselves. So there's some pretty cool stuff you can do with that. And then we've got Zeraora. It's a 1 prize lightning, so it will go into most lightning decks, maybe even with Joltik. You can literally power this up on turn 1 if you're going second. This attack does 20 more damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So you might go, oh, it can only ever do 100 damage. 100 damage for basic stage 1. Sorry, not stage 1. For a basic 1 prizer is amazing. There's also some cards out there which can make a bench go up to 8 Pokemon or double, whatever it is. So all of a sudden, you're doing 160 damage for a 1 prizer for 2 energy, which in Lightning in particular, is very easy to do. So I feel like this is an auto inclusion in it. Oh, we'll come on to another thing about this card and Joltik in particular later on. For me, Psychic in this one is pretty weak as a typing in terms of meta relevance. Got some nice artwork in this. You've got Mewtwo here. It's always weird seeing like legendaries and mythics not being an EX or having art rares, but this is pretty cool. So definitely grab this if you like Mewtwo for the artwork. Not much more to say apart from Dashbun EX. Now we'll come on to this because it's got even more versions of this as we go along. Some people might play this, but I don't see a space for it personally. But it's Dashbun EX. It's Dashbun. It's a cute card, and we'll get onto some of the other versions of it later on. The only card which I think will actually see some play is Iron Boulder. 140 HP for a basic 1 prizer. Pretty good. 2 energy for 170 damage, even better. It's negative of, or it's downside of, you don't have the same number of cards in your hand as your opponent's attack. There's nothing. There's lots of cards which equal it out. So early on in the game, an Iono would do that. There's Judge, and there's just other bits to make your opponents discard cards, or you discard by playing your cards to make you got the same size. And in future, there's a lot of ways of retreating, etc. So as a 1 prizer, I think this could be pretty good in the future deck in particular. Then we go on to the fighting decks, and again, there's not much to shout about in this one. There's some nice artworks here, like the Marak seems pretty nice little innocent one there. The Rhyhorn here, just in the what's the area called? Can't remember, but we'll come on to that. I know it's in the game. You walk around it into the new area, but for whatever reason, I can't remember. The Blue Academy. It'll be on the screen, I hope. So not much to mention here. However, there's 3 EXs actually in the fighting bit here. So let's go on to, I'll say worst to best. So Lucario X, nothing special about this. It won't be played. However, it's Lucario. It is one of the more popular Pokemon in the Pokemon world, so naturally people will want to collect this. Not much more to say this. 2 base attacks. The artwork is pretty cool, obviously punching out of it. They could do a lot more of this. You know, it's almost like Gengar coming out from previous sets, but not quite as good. Then you've got Garganacl EX, the Salt Pokemon. Could it see play because its ability is 6 less damage, etc.? Maybe, but ultimately, stage 2 for not a lot in my eyes, so I don't think so. But again, pretty cool artwork, bearing in mind, as I said, it's just Salt. The more popular EX, I believe, from the fighting types is going to be Medicham EX. Now, I don't believe this is necessarily going to break the meta or be up there. However, its first ability, where you can put a double turbo energy, which will not affect the actual damage you do, is put damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon until its remaining HP is 50. If you do that on the active, especially if it's a big HP Pokemon, say like Charizard EX, or even Blissey or whatever, it might have like Hero's Cape on it, all of a sudden it's down to 50. Now, if you've got other cards which then do 50 damage, so you've got the Dusclops line, for example, or you've got a Monkey Dory, which also does extra damage, for example. There's a lot that can be done with this, and I feel like a deck might come about as like the spread deck from previous formats. So out of the 3, like this could find some use. At the same time, I feel like it's grab 4 if you want now for the future, because you never know, a deck might be really good at it. I'm not convinced right now, however. And then we go, oh look, there's a Koraidon here as well. It's weird seeing Koraidon and Miraidon as just normal cards. Sure, I guess it does more damage, up to 120, but if it's an EX, that's not really doing that much, so we'll move on for that one. Dark type, well, we've just had Shrouded Fable, so I'm not surprised that this doesn't have a lot in it at all. Obviously, it's got the Impotent Morgrem and Grimmsnarl line. This Grimmsnarl does it pretty cool, and we know we've got Grimmsnarl coming up next year, so you never know. we might be using this Impidimp to get to it, for example. And then we come on to the Metal Pokemon. So look, Jirachi, another, yeah, we'll go with that. Let me know if I'm wrong and it's a legendary. For some reason, I can't remember. But it's a fan favorite again. Its ability is actually not too bad. I might see some play. Maybe, maybe not. But definitely in the reverse looks pretty cool. So we'll go with that. We've got the Meltan and Melmetal line, which seems to be quite a common line. It's like one of the only metal Pokemon around that keeps coming back. I don't know why. And Clink Clank. Oh, how could I forget this? So the ability on here means you don't need to play any Clangs or any Klings. I know I've done that the other way around. But essentially, if your opponent has any Stage 2 Pokemon in play, and trust me, there's lots of Stage 2 Pokemon decks out there. Lots of people play Pidgeot EX, for example, and there you go, done. Charizard, there's loads out there. And then you just get to play this from your hand. Yeah, just pull it onto your bench, done. There might be other things you can do with this. But yeah, so it has potential, and it's just a one prizer. So there's some downside, obviously, but that has potential to be played. We've got even a Melmetal EX again. Got quite a few Melmetal EXs in the Scarlet and Violet era, I believe. And it's only got one attack. It just feels like it's just a wasted bit of space. I understand not every EX is going to look cool, etc. But I don't know why. It just feels like they could do more of this. And why would you put it? I know it's templating. Like, I understand how that works. But yeah, just feel a bit meh opening this. Well, I'm going to open it. I want to collect the entire set. But you never know. And then we go on to Archaladon. Why did I struggle so much to say that? So the first one is Duraludon. So Archaladon. Anyways, moving on. If you do play Metal Energy in your deck, doesn't have to be Metal Pokemon, then they all have no retreat cost. So you could play this as a 1-1 line. Yeah, that's as much as I can say about that. I'm sure someone better at the game can explain this to me. Moving on, we have Offworm EX. I feel like this card, well, this Pokemon needs to be printed more because I like it from randomness. I'm not going to lie. Its ability, if it's damaged from your opponent's Pokemon, do damage counters from it for each metal energy on it. And it's also there's also an aspect card you could put onto this to be doing even more damage to a Pokemon, even if they knock this out. And its ability, I mean, it's kind of well, I say ability, its attack is almost irrelevant. It's more about the ability, but obviously you're going to want to do some damage with it. But 4 energy on this, not the easiest in the world. I know you've got the whole, was it Metang part, but at that point, why not just be playing the Dialga deck? So when Dialga goes, maybe this becomes the one, but I guess we'll find out. And bear in mind, we've had a lot of Dragon Pokemon recently. One Dragon from this entire set, and that is Raging Bolt, which is 30 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each energy attached to this Pokemon. I mean, the Raging Bolt deck plays one non-EX card. Will it play this as well? I'm not convinced. Potentially, but to get 2 energy on it, 1 of each, when you're already trying to do that to your main Raging Bolt with energy switch, etc., I feel like it's a bit too much compared to Sandy Shocks, which is a lot easier to get going. And then we come on to the normal Pokemon, which is kind of the big grouping, and it's just because there's some really powerful Pokemon in this. So it's a nice little artwork like the Tauros, Eevee, and then the first card we get to is a Noctowl. So this is also the ETB promo, which we'll see in the next video. But once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, if you have any Terra Pokemon in play, and you don't have to necessarily be like, I need to play Terra Pokemon. If you're already playing Pokemon that are just happen to be Terra Pokemon, and there's lots of them in there, then you benefit from this. So this is probably one of the best cards of the entire set. That's why I said it. And that is, you may search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards rather than put them in your hand. So yeah, you basically get what you need almost. So really powerful card, really powerful card. Next one is Fan Rotom. So once during your first turn, you may search your deck for up to 3 normal Pokemon with 100 HP or less, reveal them, put them in your hand, and shuffle your deck. An amazing ability. You know, if you've already got Hootsuits out because you've got Body Poffins, you can then find your Noctowl. So you've got that guarantee set up for next turn, for example. There's more you can do with it. Obviously, like Buffalont here, you can even find as well, and you can play it. So your normal Pokemon take less damage. So some really cool abilities there. And I know there's one in particular everyone's waiting for. But I just wanted to point out to this because I feel like the artwork in this is amazing. It's a bit different to some of the others there. It's not the best Pokemon in terms of you wouldn't play it, but just from an artwork perspective, I really like this one. So definitely a card I feel like you should keep an eye out. Yep, and as we keep going along, the big one. So this is literally the poster child of the entire set, Terapagos EX. So this is the last of the 4 Stella Tera Pokémon. As you can see from the border, you almost can't work out what this Pokemon looks like, and unless you've played the actual game itself, you won't know. And it changes its form throughout. It's got 3 different forms, which I'm not going to go into, but it is a cool Pokemon. And well, most people aren't playing it for this ability. It is its first attack. So if you go second, you can't use this attack during your first turn, and there's reasons for that, which I'll go into in a second. This attack does 30 damage for each of your bench Pokemon. So you might go, well, you've got 5 Pokemon, 150. Can't do any more than that. Well, there's another card in this set called Area 0 Underdepths, and we'll get to that in a second. But it increases your bench size. So all of a sudden you can be doing a lot of damage. Now, I can't remember what the max is. When we go to Area 0 Underdepths, we'll find out. But the fact it's also a Tera Pokemon, and the fact it's a normal Pokemon, there's a lot of support for it. And that's the big thing. It's a basic Pokemon as well, so there's a lot of damage output this can do. So it'd be interesting to see how many decks build around this, how many decks use this as an enabler in and of itself. So yeah, really looking forward to it. I think if you play the game, you want to pick up 4 as quickly as possible. If you collect it, 100%. Now that we've seen the Pokemon, let's get into the trainer cards. And there's some cool trainer cards in this. And then we'll get into obviously the art rares, the full arts, the secret art rares, and the gold cards. We've got a couple of the fossils here. I mean, I'd pick up some of these if you want to, just because if you ever play the deck or the cards, then obviously you need these. So why not? Nothing special there. And then the first big card. So this is the big one, and you'll see a lot of this being played. You can now have up to 8 Pokemon on their bench. So when you've got Terapagos EX, who is a Tera Pokemon, you get 8 on your bench. Well, 8 times 3 is 240. So you are KOing other Terapagos EXs and just a lot of other basic EXs out there. And V Pokemon as well. So a lot of damage all of a sudden happens with this. So this is probably one of the biggest cards from this set. Definitely top 5 in terms of playability. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Briar, this sees like 1 or 2 of its index, and I think as the formats go on, this will see even more play. Maybe not 4, but if your opponent has exactly 2 cards remaining, and you knock out an opponent's Pokemon with your Tera Pokemon, you take 1 more prize. I was going to say one deck, and that is Charizard EX. It is a Tera Pokemon. It gets better the more prize cards your opponent's taken, and it's normally how games work. The fact that if you're slightly behind, you're dealing more damage, and you can take an extra prize card potentially. So all of a sudden, if your opponent's down to 2 and you're on 3, you can win the game with playing Briar and then attacking with Charizard for the knockout. Just putting it out there. There's more to it than just Charizard, but yes, probably one of the biggest trainers that come out of this. Crispin, it will see play just because it is energy ramp, especially with the new Tera Pokemon, the Stella Tera, and that's because you can get 2 basic energy of different types. One goes straight on the Pokemon. It's already got 1 on it. You put the third one that you find from this, and it can use its second attack, which at the moment not many will be, but if we find any more of these Pokemon, then obviously we will. Our first A-Spec from it is Deluxe Bomb. So this is kind of like previous cards we've seen of this, in terms of if your Pokemon takes damage or is knocked out from attack, you put damage counters on the attacking Pokemon and then you discard it. So was it Mew used to play, was it Ancient Box? Similar thing, but it was only 8 damage counters. This is 12, so quite a lot. So when you combine that with, say, the Earthworm, all of a sudden you could be doing 1600 damage or 16 damage counters, which is enough to KO the other Pokemon potentially, or make it so weak that you can just kill it with a 1 prize Pokemon. So I doubt many people will be playing this now, but it might find some niche play in certain decks as new cards come out. Another, what seems to be an innocuous card at first, but a really powerful card. So you can use this card only if there are any Tera Pokemon in play. And I feel like decks, especially as Sword and Shield completely rotates, will have even more Tera Pokemon in them. Choose up to 2 of your benched normal Pokemon and attach a basic energy from the discard pile to each of them. So yes, it's only normal Pokemon. And the only first one we think of is Terapagos EX. So yes, you can get the Crown Opal attack going, but it can be done to any normal Pokemon. And so you can put it on Blissey, for example. You can then move that to something else, to a non-colorless Pokemon. So I can see this being played as a 4 of in a few decks. Second of the 3 A-Specs is Grand Tree. And essentially, if you want to play a Stage 2 Pokemon, you can find a Stage 1, evolve it, and straight into a Stage 2 afterwards on each of your turns. So very powerful, but it works both ways. So you always need to be careful what you're playing against. You might want to use it and then find a way of discarding it. Otherwise, you might give your opponent the same advantage, depending if they're playing a Stage 2 deck or not. But this allows you some tempo 100%. So this will definitely see some play. And out the 3 A-Specs, I would say this might see more play. But let me know in the comments if you think this one or the next one that comes up is the best one. One of my favorite Pokemon tools from this, and essentially if it's attached to the Pokemon in the active spot, the retreat cost of both active Pokemon is 1 colorless more. The reason why I like this because I saw a thing the other day, and that is in the Gardevoir deck. You put Screamtail into the active, you sort of trap a Pokemon in your opponent's active that has a high retreat cost but doesn't do much damage. You lock it in even more, so if they don't have any switch cards, it just stays there, and then Screamtail literally snipes off your opponent's bench. And when I say snipes off, Screamtail can knock out EX cards. It's got a lot of utility. Go through, well, we've already seen some Pokemon cards that want you to have 4 of these and in your discard. But not only that, in and of itself, you put 2 cards from your hand in both your deck in any order, and then you can draw 4 cards. So even if you can't discard Kofu into your discard, for example, like Ultra Ball, then you can still just play it, and it's actually not a bad card. If you've got 2 cards you just don't need at the moment, or later in the game a bit useless, you can kind of put them back in your deck so you don't deck out, and then draw 4 new cards which hopefully are useful. So not sure to see much play outside the dedicated Kofu deck. Here we go. Lacey. Shuffle your hand to your deck, then draw 4 cards. Your opponent has 3 or fewer prize cards remaining, draw 8 cards instead. Again, I know we've got cards like Iono. However, if you just want to draw 8 cards because it's all about you getting your cards to say win that turn, then the Iono is irrelevant. So again, as the format goes on and we go further into more sets, Lacey could become more prevalent, but actually just playing this as a one-off potentially could be quite powerful. Then we've got the 2 berries. They basically take less damage as a one-off against Psychic or Fire. Nothing too relevant there. And then Sparkling Crystal. Again, it seems a bit innocuous. When the Tera Pokemon this card is attached to uses an attack, that attack costs 1 energy less. And again, I keep harping onto it, but all the Tera Pokemon have 3 different energy types in this, but the wording on Sparkling Crystal is you can have 1 less energy of any type. So say you have a Joltik that puts a Leaf and Lightning energy on this, and you don't play Water energy, you can put the Crystal on it and it doesn't matter, it can still use its second attack. Now obviously I'm talking about the new Tera Pokemon. There could be some older Tera Pokemon that this is more relevant to. I've not really looked into it. Let me know in the comments already if you've already thought of some amazing combos with this card. The next section is literally just going to be all the amazing artwork. So I'm not going to talk about the card and its ability itself or its playability, literally just how cool it looks. We're starting off with a banger, and that is Bulbasaur. So there's another card in this set, which is Squirtle, which we'll get onto. We've been waiting for these cards for ages because we had the Charmander, which was the Obsidian Flames ETB promo, and then was like, where's Bulbasaur, where's Squirtle? Then we saw the artwork for them in Japan as a promo, and then we're like, wait, do we ever get these? Because we don't get the same promos as them. And we finally got them. So the Bulbasaur and the Squirtle, which we'll get onto, are some of the most sought after cards from this set. So if you can open them without having to pay for them and get them in your collection, then lucky you, because I think they're going up in price already. And I'll do a price thing on this. And yeah, the Squirtle in particular is most people's favorite, but I'm looking to get 1 of each, plus the Charmander from the ETB, and I want to grade it as like sequential grading: Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle. Get them graded and then put them like a frame with 3 on it, hopefully all 10s, etc., because I think that look really cool. And who knows, if I do get to do that, I'll make a video about it, of course, because I want you guys to see what I do in that. So definitely a big one there. Next up is the Ledian. Not my favorite artwork on it, but it's very on theme as Ledian, as the ladybug going over a meadow field, I believe, with some wildflowers. So pretty cool artwork there. Next up, we go into the Leap. I think this is a bit underrated. The Leap seems to be in some sort of aquarium terrarium type thing. At first when I saw this, I was like, doesn't make sense, but maybe someone can explain it to me a bit better on this one. I didn't realize the Leap was in water, unless it's not in water and I'm just really confused. But yeah, let me know how this works from a Pokemon and story perspective, because I do want to know, trust me. After that, we have Tortonator. Kind of a nice little artwork, to be fair. Just standing in the cave, looking all innocent, quite cute, because in the game, this Tortonator does not look cute at all. So the fact that they've made this look cute is, if you ask me, pretty cool. I think this is an underrated card from the set, and definitely one I'm looking forward to, because I feel like in person with the lights on here would be pretty cool. Next up is Reboot, which is part of the Score Bunny Reboot Cinderace line, which I know a lot of people love Cinderace and that line from Gen 8 being all the rage at the moment, Galar, like Pokemon Go and all this sort of stuff. However, pretty cool. I don't know why I'm not a fan of it. However, in person, when you have this card with the light coming off this bit here, and then the ball bit here into Score Bunny, actually looks pretty cool. Well, I hope it looks pretty cool. So if we open this in the next video, then obviously we'll see that. But I think this just looks cool because the color palette compared to some of the others is just different. So it just stands out a bit more. So I am looking forward to opening this. To be fair, I'm looking forward to opening this set. I think it's got some of the best overall artworks and art rares as a set of Scarlet and Violet. And then we move on to the big card of the entire set, and that is the Squirtle art rare. That is right, the Squirtle in the pool, on the balcony, with the Pidgeys here all around, with his little water gun. Yeah, it's just really playful. It completes the set. Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, we've got all three now. Let me know in the comments down below which one is your favorite out of the three, and if you are going to also collect all three as like a mini little set. But this is the big one that everyone wants, and it's just going up in price. This is actually secretly one of my favorite arts from the entire set. It's just so on point. The color palette, I feel like just in person, just seeing this with the texture on it, sublime. Don't know why, but this is the card I want to pull. 100%. Out of all the others, obviously I want the Squirtle and the Bulbasaur, but this card in particular I really want. I obviously want one for my master set, and just more. I'll just take more because why not? I know I said we won't talk about playability, but the fact that it's so playable and it's got an art rare as well just makes this card so amazing. See all the sparks coming out of it. I mean, what more is there to say? It's a cool card. It's just a cool card. And even Zeraora has another cool card. Again, 2 lightning cards, playable. I know I didn't say about playable. And then this, yeah, it's just amazing. Like, they've done so much good work, and the lightning, like the lightning on this is just so different from the lightning on this. I know it's different artists, etc., and different styles, but I just love the way they can do that. It's just amazing. Getting towards the end of the art rares now. However, we've got the Milcery, such an innocent looking card, sort of like perfect kids card. Just the way the artwork is done on it, it just, yeah, it's amazing. I just feel like it's simple, but I know it's not simple, and it's really nice as a result. Moving on to Meditite. I understand the premise of this. I'm not a fan of this artwork. I do like the way it's sort of like you've got the foreground and the background there, and it's using another Pokemon to represent that. But yeah, I'm not convinced. Obviously, you've got Meditite here who should be meditating but is not. But yeah, I don't know why something about this card I'm not convinced by, but if you like it, then you like it. This card is just a fun card, let's face it. There's not much more to say about it. It's just a fun card. It's just gulping. It literally is doing what it is. Yeah, that makes sense. It's doing what it is. I mean, yeah, it's a fun card. Simple colors as well. So I know a lot of people love this card and it's one of their chases. It's not mine, but I do love it for its simplicity. I'll give you that. Oh, it's a card I can't pronounce. Arcaludon. Arcaludon? Don't know why I'm struggling so much with this card. This is when I'm going to open. This is probably the first one I open now, and I can't pronounce it. It's going to be hilarious. Artwork is really nice on this one. And it's coming down. Seems so friendly, even though it doesn't always look friendly, this Pokemon. Again, the color palette on it, bear in mind I'm partial colorblind, it looks pretty cool to me. Simple, but really effective. So this Pokemon, whatever it's called, someone else can pronounce it for me. Really nice. Next up, we get on to the full arts. And I'll explain something about these full arts, because you'll notice there is one Stella Tera Pokemon that is not on the full art list. And we'll go into that in a second. The first one is Hydrapple EX. Again, there's not much to say. It's just a basic full art. The colors on it are quite cool. It's not the same as like the ancient Pokemon one, but it's very similar with that kind of sandy background. And so I'm going to go into the Stella ones afterwards. Then you've got Flashburn EX. Again, nothing much to say here. It's got that fairy feel to the back of it. Medicham EX. Again, quite basic. Nothing special there. Then Earthworm EX, which I don't know why this looks green to me at the back. If it's not, then I apologize. Which makes Earthworm stand out a lot, but I'm a bit confused with the color thing there, but that could just be me. And then we get into the Stella Pokemon. And as you can see, the big thing here is the border. So this is like the rainbow border. So like, as I mentioned earlier, the closest we're getting to sort of rainbow Pokemon in the Scarlet and Violet era. And it's pretty cool. And they all are very similar. All the same border, all the same sort of style. Really nice. But you'll notice only 3 of them. And why is that? Because Terapagos EX Full Art is actually in the UPC. Simple as. It's not going to be in this set. It is going to be a promo in the UPC, similar to like Mew and Mewtwo were promos in the 151 UPC last year and not in the main sets, even though they were in Japan. Moving on into other full arts, and we have here the trainers. So we've got the Briar trainer full art, pretty nice, playable. Crispin, Again, nothing too special, but it's pretty cool. Kofu. I mean, this one to me just sums up who Kofu is if you've played the game. So I like this one just from a on-theme point of view. And then Lacey, which the whole waifu thing, which we'll get onto in a second. Out the full arts, you know, Lacey and Briar. I don't know why that's a thing. I don't think there's anything special about this, but hey, here we go. That's the end of the full arts. And then we get onto the secret art rares, and there's not many of them. I think there is 6 in total. So Hydrapple has one. And I like this. It's like a painting on a stone wall kind of feel to it. Pretty cool because it's like Hydrapple is although it's grass in this, it's like that dragon type or hybrid type. It's like it's got the myths behind it, that kind of feel. So I like this sort of artwork on it. Not a bad secret art rare, not the one I want to pull. Galvantula EX, that's right. So we've got Joltik, which has an art rare, and then we've got Galvantula EX, which is a Stellar Pokemon, and it has a secret art rare, which also has the border. I mean, what more do you want? This to me is amazing, and I can't wait to pull this one. Dashbun EX, and it's just Dashbun. It's a bun. It's almost like Pokemon know what they're doing when it comes to naming the Pokemon and then doing the artwork. How cool is this? How cool is this card in terms of artwork? Again, on theme with literally just the name of the Pokemon. With the name of the Pokemon, but just looks really cool. And again, because it'd be textured, etc., in person, this card will just look even better. And then the last Pokemon secret art rare is, of course, the poster child of the set, Parapagos EX. And finally, you can actually see what this Pokemon looks like. You can see the turtle thing with the crown. You can actually see what it looks like. And you realize just how small this Pokemon is on this card and how much of this card is everything but the Pokemon. Or is it? Because actually the Pokemon here looks really small, but on this little world bit with all the colors of the Pokemon types going around it. So actually this Pokemon is the turtle with the crown on top of a ball, if you like, with gems going around it. It is the perfect stellar Pokemon because that's what it is. It is a stellar Pokemon. So again, this is the big one to grab of the Pokemon in the secret art rares, but not necessarily the biggest secret art rare of the set. I'll get into that in a second because the next 2 trainers are secret art rares of Briar and Lacey, and for whatever reason there's a waifu tax. I still don't understand it. However, I do like the artwork in this one, and that is Briar looking at a gem. And when I say gem, I mean crystal, because obviously regarding Tera Pokemon, it's all about the crystals. So very on theme, especially Briar in the game. So I like this one, and I like the colors and the light shining through. Not because of the waifu side of it, just because the actual artwork and the character behind it looks pretty cool. And then we come to the one of the biggest cards in the entire set, and that is the secret art rare, Lacey. Now it's got other characters in this, of course, but it's literally because it's a secret art rare of Lacey. I don't know why. That's just what it is. So I reckon this is more of a Japanese thing that would be higher in price. In general, in English sets, it's the Pokemons that have more value to them, like the Squirtle, for example, the Terrapagos EX SAR. However, this will still be pricey to begin with. Just is. Then we get onto the gold, and there's 3 gold in this set. Terrapagos EX, and I believe Cinder, Ace, and one other, maybe Lapras. Don't quote me on that. Is a promo from the UPC. So again, there are more gold Pokemon, just not in this set. And again, what I was saying before, this is the entire Pokemon, and it's got the little turtle standing on top with the turtle below it, plus the world and the gems of all the energy types. So that is the size of the Pokemon. You can now fully see it. It goes through different stages. So at the very top here is kind of its basic, and then it goes into this one, and then it goes on to the big one when it's fully terrestrialized. So there you go. You've finally seen the Pokemon card. As a gold card, I'll happily grab this, and I'm sure because the colors look so different, it will be really nice. Another big card in the set, as we mentioned before, is this Stadium Area 0 Under Depths. And in fact, that is not just a gold card, it's a full art gold card as a trainer, as a Stadium. Really powerful ability, really cool artwork. It just comes out, and you see this, it's got a little Glamora there. It's also like you find Koraidon and Miraidon down here in the games. Actually, when I was looking for them, I found a shiny Glamora in it. My first shiny from playing the game. There you go, fun fact. This could go up in price. Like this is definitely, yeah. If you can grab this, great. It's amazing. The texture on it is just going to be so cool. And the last one of them is Bravery Charm. It's kind of like your basic tool card. It just has it as a big in the middle of the gold card. But because it's a playable card, and since I said I wouldn't bring up playability, it won't be like the Buddy Buddy Poffin or the Earthen Vessel from other sets in gold. That'll be really pricey, but this will still have a premium on it. So there you have it. That is the set. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you started opening it, as the set is out today. What's your favorite card from it? What you are most looking forward to opening? And make sure you are subscribed to the channel, because I'll be doing the opening, like I said, with the cards down there. I'll be opening them up. And until then, I'll catch you in the next one.